Frédéric took off the jacket, which is great.
I was talking outside.
Okay, so hi everyone. So we're going to talk about a pretty interesting subject that actually many people around the world in the last few weeks have been discussing, and it's this whole concept of accelerators, incubators, co-working spaces. What do they mean? Is it a new asset layer? Does it change the way VCs or investors work? Does it actually change education, the way Ivy League business schools are acting? So I think we're going to try and talk about some of these things. But first, let's introduce the panel. Frédéric, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Frédéric Josue. I'm the global advisor to Havas Media president. Havas Media is a France major communication agency, and I'm the head of innovation for the group. So I lead one lab that's called 18, that stands for 18 months of advance, and that's mainly what I do.
Hi, I'm Bruce Haymes. I'm a leader at Nielsen in our business development and mergers and acquisitions group, and I'm also a director and manager of our tech accelerator incubator in Caesarea, Israel, which is an equity-based accelerator in connection with the chief scientist of Israel.
Hi, Nathalie Boulanger, Orange Startup Ecosystem. So within Orange, two main programs to support startups scale up and also to boost open innovation and innovation for our customers. First, we invested 2 years ago in a fund, Orange Publicis Venture, managed by Iris, 300 million euros fund. And the first investment of Iris was here in Israel, my thing. And because startups need money, but they need also customers. And so we launched 18 months ago, our acceleration program, Orange Fab, first in San Francisco, and then we did quite well, and so we decided to deploy it internationally in France, Poland, Japan, and today in Israel. Of course, we have to be in Israel, and the Innovation Hub, and also Ivory Coast, and we will extend the Orange Fab of the Japanese Orange Fab to Korea and Taiwan.
Ciao a tutti. My name is Maurizio Rossi. I'm from Italy, and I'm the co-founder of Age Farm. Age Farm, I describe as a zoo for young entrepreneurs. It has been founded at least over 9 years ago. It's a platform for young entrepreneurs in the digital landscape, and it gets together an accelerator, a venture firm, an education program, and a hub for late-stage company. So that's why I say a zoo. Today we have 450 entrepreneurs, and we run the largest program of the country.
And if you have a chance to go and visit the H Farm in Venice, it's beautiful, beautiful location.
Some Israeli friends came. We hosted a Kindernet in the summer. So we have a lot of people been here, and I'm very happy, very proud to host you.
Great. And Zack Weisfeld, I run Microsoft Ventures for Europe, as well as our global accelerator program. We run accelerators in Bangalore, Beijing, Berlin, London, Paris, Tel Aviv, and Seattle. We actually started here in April 2012, and then expanded to the world. So if I can get for a second the screen on, I want to share with you few stats. So in South by Southwest, there's actually an Israeli professor at MIT called Yael Ochberg, together with Professor Cohen. They've published the research about the results of specifically the top US accelerator program. So Y Combinator, Techstars, 500 Startups, AngelPad. Can I get the computer screen on here? Great. So I'll share a few of the stats that they published. So first of all, and again, not in a very specific order. So 2% of the graduates of these top programs actually exited so far. So companies have been acquired by others. On average, 59%, where some of you may say it's not high enough, but it's actually pretty high. So 59% of the graduates of these top accelerators have raised follow-on funding, which means there are actually a third of them that didn't, but I think it's an interesting stat. If you look at the amount of funding, so a year from graduation, they raise between $1 to $1.7 million. Depends, how do you count? If you, unconditional means it takes the zeros, the ones that didn't raise anything, and conditional means they took the numbers also of only of those that actually raised funding. This is another thing that they published. They looked at, and again, this is not the Israel incubator model. This is what's used with mostly the U.S. incubator model, and they looked at what's the trajectory of success based on their research of a startup that tries to do it by themselves, startup that join one of these top accelerators, and then startups that join some of the business incubators in the U.S., which is, I think, an interesting view. And then 2 weeks ago, there was in Woodside, in California, there was a conference called Incubate, and had a lot of the incubators and accelerators that came there. And that's an interesting statement that came out of, so Peter Allen is the founder of Webvan and actually started 2 accelerators. And he said that he thinks that 90% of incubators or accelerators, there's a lot of confusion in nomenclature, actually going to fail. And I want to start actually with this statement, or talk about this whole phenomenon. This seems crazy, right? I look at all 4 of you, and I look at myself in the mirror many times each morning, and I say, we're business people. Why are we doing this? Someone wants to start with?
Yeah, I mean, I think from Nielsen's perspective, the model works really well. You look at accelerators and incubators, there's a wide range of models. So when you say, 90% are going to fail, some of those may be pure financial investment or work sharing or co-location spaces, non-equity type accelerators. There's so many different models out there. I think that from our perspective, though, we're really happy with it in terms of objectives. And the way that we've de-risked it is, first of all, our incubator typically invests in companies where we have visibility into the product. Even though it's at a very early stage, we see that it's something that can be developed and sold within a matter of months, not years. And second is, it has to be something that either disrupts our business or our client's business, something that we could bring to a product team or a client services team, introduce to a client, and try to sell. And in our case, we've been in operation for about 15 months. We have 10 investments so far, and about half of them are already doing cross-border work with Nielsen clients or with Nielsen product developers.
So you were happy from this model?
Yeah, I think we're very happy with it. I think the thing that was the biggest surprise, which is unrelated to the success rate of accelerators or startups, is that I think our biggest concern was, it's called an incubator because it's supposed to protect the entrepreneur from the harmful germs that are in the outside world. And when you're in a corporate incubator environment, the idea is to protect it from, a not invented here type of mentality. And what I didn't expect was the level of receptiveness and enthusiasm from our global sales force and our product teams and even our tech people to some of the brilliant ideas that are coming out of Israel. So we're looking to do it in more locations now.
We'll get back to the protecting them for germs and for how long they need to be protected for germs or really feel the real world, but we'll get back there. Anyone else on the fact that we're business people and it seems like we're in a business that doesn't make sense?
I would say yes. It's first of all, we have to consider that the innovation economy is just starting, that the startup industry is very new. So it's we're talking about a few years. And Accelerator we are pioneer. We're pioneering this new age. And look at my experiences over 9 years, And we face so many challenges. And my conclusion is an accelerator cannot stand alone. Accelerator is a specific momentum, a specific container of activities, whatever, but we must have a strategy. It has to be backed by someone. It could be investors, could be corporate. You need to have a program that he has to consider the local ecosystem that's going to be different if I'm talking here in Israel, and the ecosystem is different if I go to Europe, country by country, if I go to the United States. So accelerator need to consider and know very well the local ecosystem, and to have, of course, a strategy. Our example, Accelerator is just one part of our platform, of our activities. And we use the knowledge of an accelerator for both investors, so to help the startup who want to raise the money, then grow their independent startup. But at the same time, this knowledge can be used by corporates to outsource the innovation programs.
Sure.
So that's coming year by year. We had to tune with the models. As you just mentioned, we wake up in the morning and say, oh, wow, it's not like a restaurant that you know that you need to get some good food. And if you have a good chef, you have people happy, and you see your table filled, you say, well, Accelerator's not that.
So as the only non-corporate person here on stage, you're happy with the model you build, and from its financial, it stands on its feet, and you're happy with from a financial perspective.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're facing challenges and things changing around because it's a very young industry, and you need to know that, be conscious about that, and to keep tuning. And
Sure.
Things are different in Italy than maybe Germany or France or whatever. I don't know what's your experience.
No, I fully agree to what you said. Yes, but we are a big corporate, and what we are trying to differentiate our accelerator. The different accelerators are introducing startups to VCs, are investing in the startups, and they are also introducing the startups to potential partners. So what we are doing within Orange Fab is to introduce the startups to our own business units, to really have a partnership during this program between the Orange Group or big corporate partners also of Orange, and that's what we are doing in Hollywood with Havas, and to really help the startup reach the market. And of course, it's very important to know very well those markets, and as a telco, I think we can be. It's really for us a win-win program between the startup and Orange. We accelerate innovation for our customers, and we accelerate the growth of the startups. We help them scale up.
Great.
I think the Orange model is really interesting, and we owe a lot to Orange because Orange connected Havas to Israel. I mean, Orange has been a door opener to Israel for us. And in my point of view, there's too much VCs and incubator, and that's part of the problem. And we could have been VCs or incubator, but we just don't know how to do it well. So we have slightly a different approach that could be connected to what Orange does, and that's why we partner, and we partner in Los Angeles. We don't give shared space, we don't give money to VCs or to startups, we bring them business. I mean, that's what we do with Myriad, which is a startup from Los Angeles that does CGI, computer-generated product placement. We connected them to more than 400 of our clients in 120 countries. What we do is that we try to connect the startups and the VCs from the ecosystem to our clients. This is made in Los Angeles, and we share space with Orange in a facility that's called Sillywood, when Silicon Valley meets Hollywood, when the techies meet the content makers. We do it in Seoul, in South Korea, and we will launch it in Israel in October. So it's slightly the same model that Orange does.
But I get a little bit confused because we used to call what you just mentioned business development, right? That was generally business development, and now we call it in different kind of names, right? It's well, you don't even have a space, right, that you run.
I mean, our lab, we don't have name. We just have a lab connected to universities, because for us, universities are key. So here we sponsor Technion, and we will open an office with Technion. So we just connect with the ecosystem, but we don't have a name. I mean, it's basically, I know name change and business changes. We don't have name for that.
Right. So, and just to maybe to complete, so by the way, I completely feel that running an accelerator, what Maurizio does a great job in Italy, but generally for someone to start an accelerator is crazy. I think there's no business justification to run an accelerator unless you have a strategic reason to do that, and I believe that few of us here have strategic reasons to do that, or you're looking for a filtering mechanism for later stage investments, and that's actually not a bad filtering mechanism. It's maybe a bit of an expensive filtering mechanism, but it's for that reason. And we're very happy from the strategic goals that we've put in front of ourselves, and I think trying to build the next set of billion-dollar companies, great companies with strong affiliation to Microsoft, is what we're trying to do in the model. So we're happy, but again, I'm happy that I'm not a P&L, and I don't need to show that actually I bring significant money from this activity. And I want to throw out something. Well, we've just what I just mentioned. So Geoff is a partner in YC is saying that some accelerators will fail, even if they're good. Running accelerators is a lousy business, as I mentioned. I think it's so great for all of us. We're running lousy businesses. I hope that we're not going to report this to our management. It's a bit weird. Another interesting point, so the ones that have followed news in the last few weeks about accelerators, YC, Techstars, etc., have seen, I think, very interesting thing that happened in the last couple of weeks. So one of them is, this is a quote from Dave McClure, saying that basically accelerators are disrupting MBA. They're disrupting the Ivy League universities. You don't go anymore. Why would you go and pay $100,000 a year to go to Stanford or to go to Harvard? Instead of you come to an accelerator, you actually get the $100,000 and you get a much better education than going into one of these programs. That's one claim. Other phenomena that happened at YC is YC decided to stop the automatic funding by the VCs, which made a lot of VCs unhappy, as they can't participate automatically in the follow-on funding. They actually need to compete for the entrepreneurs and their money. So it seems like there's disruption in the VC model as well. That this whole accelerator incubator environment is doing. And I think we saw another interesting thing that happened in the last couple of weeks is Techstars announced that if you're a Techstar graduate, you can actually get your equity back. If you're not happy with what you got out of their 3 months program, no problem. Take your equity back, and nothing happened, and everyone goes to their way. Pretty interesting, Definitely a lot of steer in this industry market. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Is it the new MBA model? Is it disrupting VC models so significantly? Bruce, you're ready.